Up, y'all? All right, so I actually meant to do this a lot sooner, but I had things to do. Um, but anyway, I want to tell you guys something because it obviously is counterintuitive. Who would think to do such a thing? But if you're anything like me, you've been fed up many times, disappointed with yourself, disappointed with other people, and it keeps you in a cycle, keeps you in a type of loop where something bad happens, you say, "Oh, what was me? Why did this happen to me? Why did this painful thing happen? Why was I chosen for this terrible thing?" Not paying attention to or not keeping in perspective of what other people may be going through, or whatever. You put your pain on a pedestal and rinse and repeat, and this could last your whole life. And I don't know what makes me any different. And surely millions, billions of others have come to this conclusion as well. So I'm really not that different. But one thing that I particularly picked up was I'm very good at being disgusted to the point where I want to make those changes. So like back in 2015, where I kept having just like withdrawal issues and anxiety, anxiety to sum it all up. I kept having anxiety issues, and I was so afraid. I would have so many anxiety attacks. I kept thinking it was heart problems. All right, and I became very sensitive to every little pain in my body. I just couldn't accept that there was actually nothing wrong with me besides the fact that stress was putting this on my body. My heart, there was nothing wrong with my heart. All right. And I kept getting reports and saying, "Oh, perfectly fine. Good health, good health." And even still, I'm doubting the doctors. I'm saying, "Oh, they're missing something. Or what if I'm on the verge of something?" So, in January, the whole month of January, pretty much, of 2015, I was pretty much just in the bed. I was in the bed and I didn't have health insurance, so I was taking the Xanax that the emergency room kept giving me. They always gave me Xanax, and I would take that just the whole time. And eventually, it was like close towards the end of the month where I went to the hospital again, and because I felt some pain, in my testicular area, and I was like, "Oh, this is cancer. This is," like I was basically turned into a hypochondriac, and man, this time I waited in the hospital all day, like 7 hours. My mom waited with me and shit like that. Blood results was fine, all of that. And it was after that day I said, "Man, you know what? I am done with this shit, man. I don't care what it is. I need to get my life." You know what I'm saying? Like I need to. I've been in the bed the whole fucking month. So I started, working out and all these things or whatever. But the takeaway from it is the biggest takeaway is that I was, you know what? No matter what pain I feel, I'm not going to jump to any conclusions. I'm just going to sit in it. All right. So I didn't, it's not like I rode the momentum from that area, but it was a very pivotal moment in my life. And, if you paid attention to any of my uh, recent videos, you know that I've been having a run in with, just poor mental health. And, I've been working on it. I've been making drastic changes. In fact, I even got me some new supplements today to help. And I kind of came to this conclusion recently, and I was just basically saying, look, if it ain't gonna kill me, what do I need to worry about? Every little pain in my body as I feel it, if it's in my chest, if I feel my heart beating harder, whatever, I'm just gonna sit there and I'm going to accept it. All right, because I had a bad reaction to medication last week. That I went back to the hospital because I couldn't even. I feel like I could barely breathe. Couldn't. I could barely talk. I couldn't think straight. I thought I was about to, have a stroke, man. Like this medication was really bad for me, as I mentioned. And that night, I mean, they took me to the hospital. It was cold. It was very bad for anxiety. And when you're trying to fight off anxiety attacks, very cold. I was wrapped up, but I was still freezing. I went to the hospital. Almost considered going back to the psych ward, but I just kind of held out because I was like, man, this could be a cycle. And basically, they did nothing for me and said, hey, we need this room. I mean, that's just kind of how it was. And I remember feeling like very defeated and like not taken care of, and it just didn't feel very much nurtured. And I felt terrible. I felt terrible the whole night. I'm surprised that I even got to go to sleep. So when I woke up in the morning, I was really angry, and I was like, man, you know what? This is war. This is war here. Like, I, now they didn't want to give me any medicine because they didn't want to make things worse. They wasn't trying to give me anxiety medicine, or whatever. I had already taken some, but I get that. But at the moment, man, I feel extremely desperate. But it was again one of those moments where I was like, shit, like you really can't rely on anybody. And I mean, I have a great support system, but even still, this war that's going on in between my ears and between my eyes, I got to figure this one out. I was like, man, I refuse to let this be the cycle. I had to keep going to the psych ward, or just living my life as a hypochondriac, or become so fearful that I form a type of agoraphobia. I'm afraid to go out of the house and things like that. And so there's this thing that I like to say. Some people may say amor fati, which is a Latin phrase that translates to the love of fate, but basically means your acceptance of fate. You accept that. And which brings me to what I was about to say is that I say I accept. I accept whatever challenge comes my way. I accept whatever pain comes my way. I accept. And that's part of the Stoic philosophy is that you practice a sense of patience. You practice the calm. Even when things aren't going your way, you practice it. Now, this doesn't make you heartless or apathetic. Probably quite the contrary, because you don't get so consumed with yourself that you can't see what other people are going through. And what people need from you is the type of strength where adversity is in the way and you don't even flinch, because you're going to have to go through it anyway. You may as well have a clear mind. And so, not only do you build a type of strength by accepting all the pain that you go through, it gives you keen insight, and it does open you up to change. Nothing opens you up to change like accepting whatever comes your way. Now you're looking for the lesson. Now you're not trying to blame other people. You're not trying to say, woe is me. You're not sitting around waiting for things to change. You're not just praying. You're learning. And that's one thing that I finally really turned the curve on. Like it's finally, I always understood this, but now it's really clicking. So now where do I go from there? It's just okay. Well, let me keep pushing my limits then. All right, I'm not going to be around for a long time. All right, I might live to be 150. To me, that's not really a long time when you think about this existence, man. It's going to go by fast, man. It really is. So that's why I didn't want to be a part of any loop. I didn't want to be a part of any cycle that that's not encouraging, that doesn't favor me. The cycle I want to be a part of is learning from the experiences, passing it on to other people, letting them know, hey, they say, well, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Yeah, man, if it does not kill you, just keep pushing. Okay? Just keep pushing. It's interesting because I'm a part of this. I mean, it's my past, but I'm a part of this. It's amazing how all these things these things happen to us, and then we wish for death. You know what I'm saying? But like, so long as we're alive, we have a chance to make things right. You know what I'm saying? And I mentioned many times before, maybe I was bullshitting a little bit, but I call what my life is from this point out the going out swinging tour. Meaning, and I'll probably make a separate video on what I'm about to say, but meaning I'm not caring too much about the outcome. For example, when I write books, for example, I'm not really thinking, oh, could this be the one? Could this be the bestseller or whatever? I'm caring about, setting out to finish something that I started. So, and I get satisfaction from doing the things I wanted to do. If you're doing these things for the validation or the recognition from others, man, look, take a step back, man. That's prerequisites. Like, it's okay to want these things, but man, what about the satisfaction of setting out to do something that most, to complete something that most people won't do? All right, so I've done things that most people my age, you know, won't do, and I'm a pretty lazy guy. It's probably because I just don't get bored. I don't get bored. Also, I kind of, I don't want to say I like pain, but I understand that suffering is just a part of life. I mean, you come into this world that's suffering. She knows. All right, so it's like that's that's how you start off. You start off extremely vulnerable. You make a lot of mistakes. You get a lot of cuts, a lot of scars, and all that. You see, I got a new one right here. You know, and this came from a can lid. You never know where your scars are gonna come from. But as you get older, you get used to it. You don't cry about it anymore. You just wrap it up. And I mean, yeah, I reacted because I mean, sometimes it just happens. But really, it so fast it didn't really hurt. You know what I'm saying? Same thing when I slit my goddamn. It took me a long time to get this finger to work. I slit it open. I tore a tendon with the goddamn open knife. Just went right through, bleeding all over the place. I lost so much blood. I drove myself to the hospital. I was dizzy as hell. But to wrap this up because I want to, I'm about to make some more videos, man. Decide to accept the things that come your way, especially pain, is the moment you become proverbially bulletproof. Figuratively speaking, you're bulletproof. All right. You look at somebody like, and I'm not trying to make a pun right here, but you look at somebody like 50 Cent. This man talks all types of shit. Also lives like he could die today. I mean, he had 9 bullets in him. How would you feel if you? I mean, he on top of the world. How would you feel? And I don't know if he consciously understood this, man, but he accepted that he's on borrowed time and he's making the best out of it, enjoying his life. As far as I'm concerned, no drinking, no smoking, nothing, no substance abuse. Lost a whole bunch of money, got it right back. That's life. You know what I'm saying? If he lost everything he had today, I think he'd be just fine. He'd get that shit right back tomorrow or next year. And that's life, man. We hold on to so many things that brought pain to us initially, but it's no longer around. We just keep carrying it with us and living in the past and still blaming people. But we gotta leave that shit behind us because there's greater things coming. So to the things that pose as adversity, to the things that trouble me, I may fake like I'm stressing over it, but the fact of the matter is